Korea.
Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
Now we begin the English language transmission from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Citizen Paris, Philip Number 218. chorus, song of General Kim Jong-il.
Bronze statues of the great leaders Generalissimos Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, erected at the Songdo-won International Children's Camp, were unveiled and the reconstructed camp inaugurated at a grand ceremony on May 2nd. The Guard of Honor of the three services of the Korean People's Army and the Worker Peasant Rebel Guards was lining up, and colors were set up on both sides of the bronze statues. Respected Kim Jong-un, First Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea, First Chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK, and Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army, came out to the venue of the ceremony. The rostrum was taken by senior officials of the party and army, officials of the Kim Il-sung Socialist Youth League, and officials of those institutions that contributed to the erection of the bronze statues and reconstruction of the camp, including units of the People's Army, the Mansudae Art Studio, and the Guidance Bureau of the Construction of Revolutionary Sites. Present at the ceremony were soldier builders, officials and employees of the camp, ship brigaders, youth league officials and school children in Gangwon Province. At the inaugural ceremony, the bronze statues of Generalissimos Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il were unveiled. Senior officials of the party and officials of the army and the camp unveiled the bronze statues. The floral basket was laid before the bronze statues in the name of respected Kim Jong-un, supreme leader of our party and people. Floral baskets were placed in the joint name of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly and Cabinet of the DPRK, and in the name of the entire members of the Korean Children's Union. Floral baskets were also laid in the name of the Central Committee of the Kim Il-sung Socialist Youth League, the Gangwon Provincial, City and County Joint Organizations of the Children's Union, the Songdo-won International Children's Camp, and party and government institutions, youth leagues, universities and schools in the province. All the participants paid tribute to the bronze statues of the great Generalissimos Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. Chair Yong-tae, Secretary of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, made unveiling and inaugural speech. The speaker said great Generalissimo Kim Il-sung looked down the Songdo-won in June 1948 or 1959 and chose the site to build a new Children's Union camp at a scenic place and indicated a clear orientation and ways for the construction. Great Generalissimo Kim Jong-il paid deep attention to the camp as a considerate parent and kind-hearted father of the school children, and showed great benevolence to ensure all conditions for the children's camping, lest they feel any inconvenience. The speaker stressed that great Generalissimos Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il are the kind-hearted father and lasting son of the Korean people and school children, who did not spare anything but showed utmost care for the rising generations, and continued, "The excellent reconstruction of the camp on the highest level with the bronze statues of the great Generalissimos is a valuable fruition of the lofty intention and energetic leadership of respected Kim Jong-un to enable the Korean people and school children to enjoy the benefits of socialism to the full." The speaker called upon all to hold the great Generalissimos Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il in high respect as the true leaders of the party and people, as the son of Juche, and resolutely defend and infinitely carry forward the idea and achievements of the fearless great men of Mount Baekdu. After the inaugural ceremony, respected Marshal Kim Jong-un warmly waved his hand to the cheering participants.
Respected Kim Jong-un, First Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea, First Chairman of the National Defense Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army, had a photo session with the soldier builders of Unit 267 of the Army, who performed great feats in wonderfully reconstructing the Songdo-won International Children's Camp as a monumental creation of the Sungun era, befitting a highly civilized socialist nation. Present on the occasion were Jung Byung-ho, Roh Kyung-jin, and Kim Jin-gun. Coming out to the photographing site, respected Supreme Commander Kim Jong-un acknowledged the soldier builders, raising cheers of hurrah. He highly estimated the feats of the soldier builders, who had braved the trials and difficulties in the revolutionary soldier spirit from the first day of reconstruction project of the camp, and thus brilliantly implemented the order of the party and fully demonstrated the militant spirit and fighting manner of the party unit, Kivo's unit. He said, the Songdo-won International Children's Camp has been reconstructed as the best palace of children in the world, representing the party's view of the rising generation, which is unthinkable apart from the loyal efforts of the soldier builders. He gave thanks to Unit 267 of the Korean People's Army in the joint name of the Central Committee and the Central Military Commission of the Workers' Party of Korea, who have been contributed to creating a world surprising Korean spirit and providing another precious asset to be handed down to posterity. Respected Supreme Commander Kim Jong-un expressed the belief that the soldier builders of Unit 267 of the Korean People's Army would in the future too perform a valuable role in all aspects of the building of a powerful nation entrusted by the party, and had a photo session with them.
Sports and cultural events were grandly held in the Songdo-won International Children's Camp on the 2nd in the presence of respected Marshal Kim Jong-un in celebration of the commissioning of the camp. Finals of the National Children's Football Games were held in the outdoor playground, wonderfully built in harmony with landscape of Songdo-won, scenic beauty on the east coast. The moment respected Marshal Kim Jong-un came out to the scene, all the spectators and players raised the stormy cheers. Appreciating the football match were senior officials of the party and army, representatives of the Kim Il-sung Socialist Youth League, officials and employees of the camp, shock brigaders, and school children and officials in Gangwon province. Park Chung-jin, number 10 of the South Hamgyong provincial team, active from the beginning of the match, scored the first goal at around 10 minutes in the second half. The South Pyongan provincial team persistently threatened the opposite team to make up the loss, and finally, number 5 Kim Kwon-sung got a goal of around 23 minutes in the second half. The match got more serious, but there was no more goal, and the contest was decided by 11-meter kick. After all, the South Hamgyong provincial team defeated the South Pyongan provincial team 5-4. Prizes were awarded. After the match was over, Marshal Kim Jong-un warmly waved back to the cheering players and spectators. He shook hands with players and coaches of both teams and referees, encouraged them, and had a picture taken together with them. He called to his side the caretakers of the games, cheering in tears, and kindly had a picture taken with them. That way, performance of the neighboring band "We Are the Happiest in the World" was given at the International Children's Friendship Hall of the Songdo International Children's Camp in the presence of Marshal Kim Jong-un. The performance began with the female chorus "March of the Children's Union." Put on the stage were colorful items including female trio, General Kim Jong-il and children. Female duet, Fatherly Kim Jong-il is on the front. Female solo, Our Father. And female chorus, We Are the Happiest in the World. The sports and cultural events culminated in the fireworks after the performance. Sound of the camp, together with audience, exciting fireworks set out in the sky of the camp with moon presenting mysterious view. After the fireworks were over, respected Marshal Kim Jong-un warmly waved his hand to all the attendants, raising cheers of fire.
Respected Kim Jong-un, First Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and First Chairman of the National Defense Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, recently received a message of greetings from Jose Eduardo dos Santos, President of the Republic of Angola. The message extended congratulations to Kim Jong-un in the name of the government and President of Angola, saying his re-election as first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK is a manifestation of the Korean people's trust in him. Expressing the belief that Kim Jong-un will rightly lead the work for stability and reconciliation in the Korean Peninsula according to the intention of the Korean people, the message reassured him of the will of the Angolan government to continue to strengthen the ties of friendship and cooperation between the two countries.
A photo exhibition was held in South Africa, a seminar on the exploits of President Kim Il-sung in the Democratic Congo, and seminars and film shows in Russia and Ethiopia on the occasion of the Day of the Sun, first anniversary of President Kim Il-sung, and 82nd anniversary of the heroic Korean People's Army. On display at the venues of the events were the photographs on the sacred revolutionary life of the great leader President Kim Il-sung and his ongoing exploits. DPRK documentaries, including Rifle of Korea, were screened at the film shows.
The 82nd anniversary of the heroic Korean People's Army was recently featured by Indonesian and Nigerian newspapers in their articles. The Indonesian newspaper Suara Korea wrote in detail that the Korean Revolutionary Armed Forces, led by the great generals Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, defeated the U.S. and Japanese imperialists, and after the war, frustrated the repeated war movements of the U.S. imperialists and firmly defended the security of the country and the gains of the revolution. The Nigerian newspaper Nigerian Observer said the entire civic forces of the Korean People's Army, firmly united around Supreme Commander Kim Jong-un, are full of the faith and will to accomplish the social cause of the future, the cause of the Sungun Revolution. The website of the Society for the Promotion of the Relations between Austria and the DPRK blogged an article recently introducing the proud and glorious cause covered by the Korean Revolutionary Armed Forces.
A whole visiting group of Koreans in Japan headed by An Tae-do flew in Pyongyang and placed a bouquet before the bronze statues of the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il on Mansu Hill and paid homage to them on Friday.
A meeting was held at the Central Hall of Workers in Pyongyang on Friday on the occasion of the 30th anniversary of the publication of the famous work of the great leader Kim Jong-il on further strengthening the work of trade unions. Present at the meeting were officials concerned and exemplary officials of the primary trade union organizations. Chun Sang-do, chairman of the Central Committee of the General Federation of Trade Unions of Korea, said in its report that the great Kim Jong-il's publication of his famous work on May the 3rd, 73 or 1984, was a historic event of great significance in the strengthening and development of the trade unions. anti-Siberian and experts in trade union building are being brilliantly carried forward and developed by respected Kim Jong-un, the reporter added.
The 29th National Scientific and Technological Festival closed at the Three Revolution Exhibition House in Pyongyang on Friday. Examined at the festival were more than 600 achievements made in scientific researches and technical innovations, including cutting-edge technical products and equipment and production processes based on latest science and technology. Present at the closing ceremony were officials concerned, scientists, technicians, members of the three revolution teams, and working people. General examination results were announced, and trophy pennants on cups, medals, certificates, citations, and relevant prizes were awarded to highly estimated institutions and individuals at the closing ceremony.
The knowledge sharing on special economic development zones was sponsored by the Korean Economic Development Association at the Yanggato International Hotel in Pyongyang on May the 2nd. Present there were officials of the association, experts of economic development zones, teachers and researchers of scientific and educational institutions, and officials concerned. The participants also included Park Kyung-ae, professor of the British Columbia University of Canada, authoritative experts of the special economic zones of China, India, Canada, the Philippines, and the United States, foreign diplomatic representatives and representatives of international organizations, and foreign embassy staff members in Korea. The participants in the knowledge sharing were briefed on the present situation and prospect of development of some economic development zones of Korea, preferential policies, and the general plan of the Wonsan Mount Kumgang region. Research results and views were exchanged, and the BOT method widely applied to investment and cooperation, and experiences of different countries which introduced it were discussed.
Yoon-gi, Vice Chairman of the Tokyo Metropolis Headquarters of the General Association of Korean Residents in Japan on a visit to the socialist homeland, was interviewed by the Korean Central News Agency on May the 1st. He said great generalismos Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il brought up the Korean people as performers of epical miracles and feats, and continued, "It is a wonderful thing unimaginable in capitalist society that workers participate in the discussion of state affairs as deputies to the Supreme People's Assembly, and the working masses enjoy a happy life, receiving different benefits from the state." Vice Chairman Park Yoon-gi stressed that the tremendous changes in the homeland at present are a valuable fruit of the outstanding leadership of respected Marshal Kim Jong-un, who is making tireless efforts for the prosperity of the country and welfare of the people. The spokesman for the National Peace Committee of Korea gave a statement to media on Saturday concerning the fact that Park Geun-hye begged Obama, who visited South Korea some time ago, to postpone again the return of the Wartime Operational Command. The statement said, "The issue of return of the Wartime Operational Command is an issue of regaining the prerogative of the Supreme Command of the South Korean People's Army transferred to the U.S. Master by traitor Seung-man Rhee during the post-Korean War. The South Korean people have long fought for its return, and as a result, it was decided to be returned by April 2012. However, traitor Ri Myung-bak, vicious pro-American confrontational maniac against re-education who came to power, postponed its return, saying its return will shake the basis of South Korea-U.S. alliance. This time, the return of the Wartime Operational Command has been postponed again due to the reckless crimes of Park Geun-hye. Concerning the time of its return, Park Geun-hye Group insists that it should be returned after combat response system capable of discerning, detecting, and striking nukes and missiles of the North at initial stage is established. And it is possible only in 2020, when the South Korean type anti-ballistic missile system is established in an attempt to postpone its return indefinitely. This reveals real intention of the Park Geun-hye Group to put South Korea under the U.S. military and colonial domination forever, and serve the U.S. master more faithfully as a ship brigade and servant of the U.S. Asia strategy and war movers against the North. Furthermore, The group, in return for the postponement of the wartime operational command, decided to purchase a lot of US hardware, including stealth fighter F-35A and unmanned reconnaissance plane Global Hawk at the cost of taxes collected from the South Korean people. In addition, it fully accepts the U.S. master's demand for increasing its share of upkeep for the U.S. imperialist aggressive forces in South Korea and joining in the U.S. missile defense system. There has been no such a traitor in the history of the world as Park Geun-hye, who spends colossal sum of money not to take back the prerogative of supreme command of the army seized by the foreign forces for dozens of years. The disgraceful anti-national crimes of worst traitors will never be tolerated and strictly settled account. We will not remain indifferent to the criminal postponement of the wartime operational command and take strong countermeasures by further strengthening the mightiness of Seongun, including the nuclear deterrent. The Park Geun-hye group will be entirely responsible for the grave consequences arising from its vicious pro-American treachery, the statement warned.
The South Korean Solidarity for Democracy, People's Life, Peaceful Reunification and Sovereignty issued an appeal on April 28, calling for a struggle against the incompetent government. The appeal said, more than 10 days has passed since the sinking of the ferry Daewoo, but the government has not taken out even one of the victims. Park Geun-hye is entirely to blame for it, and she must no longer be allowed to remain in power. Either to die under the rule of the corrupt authorities or to rise up to fight and win victory. People have to choose one of them. The appeal called upon all to rise in the struggle with candlelight to build a society where the people are masters.
The South Korean weekly newspaper Media Today on April 28th denounced the Broadcasting and Communication Committee and the Broadcasting and News Agency Examination Committee of South Korea for violating the freedom of speech as regards the sinking of the ferry Daewoo.
Rosanita Campos, vice chairwoman of the Party for Free Motherland of Brazil, recently contributed to the newspaper Hora do Povo an article under the title United States employs reptile media for false propaganda against DPRK. The article disclosed false propaganda and slanders against the DPRK committed by Western media under the financial support of the US CIA.
The Socialist Party of Romania recently blogged on its website Idea, the Romanian Party for Choice of Socialism on its website Tricolor, and the new Yugoslav Communist Party of Serbia on its internet homepage articles condemning the U.S. hostile policy towards the DPRK. The articles said it is no other than the United States and the South Korean authorities that lead the situation on the Korean peninsula to a touch-and-go tension. We will fully support the Korean people in their just struggle to destroy the movements of the United States and its followers and defend the sovereignty of the country and nation, they added. And that's the end of the news, read by Kim Hyun-ok and Choi Sung-nam. This is Voice of Korea.
We now present a mail chorus, song dedicated to Comrade Kim Jong-il. enjoy small orchestral music. His life.
To female sextet, and leader Kim Jong-un, loved by the people.
Principles of National Reunification, Common Reunification Program of the Nation. May 3rd this year is the 42nd anniversary of the great President Kim Il-sung's famous work on the 3 principles of national reunification. He put forward the principles on May 3rd, CHA-61 or 1972. In its talk to the South Korean delegates who came to Pyongyang to participate in the high-level political talks between the North and the South. The main contents of the 3 principles of national reunification are independence, peaceful reunification, and great national unity. The principles were made public in a North-South joint statement on July 4th that year. The Workers' Party of Korea and the government of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea hold faster and consistently maintain the 3 principles of national reunification put forward by President Kim Il-sung as the reunification program common to the nation. The first principle is to achieve the country's reunification independently without reliance on outside forces and free from their interference. To this end, foreign interference should be rejected first of all. It is the U.S. imperialists that kept Korea divided into North and the South. In order to reunify Korea, the U.S. imperialists, the outside force, must be driven out of South Korea and kept from disturbing reunification of Korea. Korea should be reunified with the strength of the Korean people. Because the issue of national reunification is the internal affair of the Korean people. The Korean people have the strength and ability to shape their destiny by themselves. Therefore, the issue of national reunification should be solved by the Korean people with their strength free from foreign interference. The second principle is to achieve national reunification by peaceful means without resorting to arms. The same nation of the same blood is living in the north and the south of Korea. If peaceful reunification fails and another war breaks out in Korea, the Korean nation will suffer catastrophe. The Korean people in the north and the south and abroad unanimously desire peaceful reunification, and so do the world people. That is the reason why Korea should be reunified peacefully, not by war. The third principle is to promote great national unity by transcending the differences in ideas and systems. Under the condition that different ideas and systems exist in the 2 parts of Korea, if the North and the South try to impose their ideas and systems upon the opposite side, this threat and confrontation will be greater, and after all, the country cannot be reunified peacefully. Different ideas and systems may exist in a country. The Korean people, holding fast to the 3 principles of national reunification put forward by the great Kim Il-sung as the common reunification program of the nation, will foil the separatist movements of the anti-reunification forces and reunify the country without fear. You've been listening to an article entitled 3 Principles of National Reunification, Common Reunification Program of the Nation. This is Voice of Korea. Now you will enjoy the piano concerto Korea is one.
With this, we conclude the English language service of Voice of Korea from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Voice of Korea presents its English language service for Southeast Asia between 5 and 6 hours UTC on 14,650 kHz and 15,105 kHz, and between 10 and 11 hours UTC on 11,745 kHz and 13,650 kHz. For Middle East and Northern Africa between 16 and 17 hours UTC on 9,890 kHz and 11,645 kHz, and between 19 and 20 hours UTC on 9,875 kHz and 11,645 kHz. For Southern Africa between 19 and 20 hours UTC on 7,210 kHz and 11,910 kHz. And for Central and South Americas between 4 and 5 hours UTC on 11,735 kHz, 13,760 kHz, and 15,180 kHz. And between 10 and 11 hours UTC on 11,710 kHz and 15,180 kHz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.